All right, crazy, interesting story from this week. I was in San Francisco at a contact improv dance class that a woman that I'm dating was hosting, and afterwards she said, "Would you like to take a walk?" And so we walked around the block, and as we came back around, this is downtown Mission, San Francisco. There's not too many people on the streets, but we did notice that there was someone close behind us, and the presence was kind of like, off in the corner, and he kept getting closer. And at one point, this girl said, "Do you mind if we?" And I said, "Yeah, let's skip." And we started skipping and giggling and laughing, and we skipped across the street, and we skipped down the next block, and then behind me I noticed this person is skipping too. And so I started laughing like, "Oh, this person's skipping." And I was just like loving that person and letting them do their thing and letting them be the divine light that they are. And never in my mind was I, concerned about this. Call it naivete, call it what you want, but I was holding this person in a divine light and just enjoying the moment. But something did feel a little strange about it, but I wasn't focusing on that. I was focusing on the joy of the moment. And as we got across the next street, still closing our skipping, I walked her over to her car, to the front door, and I saw that the person walk past the car looking at us. And as I got her in the car and I came around the other side to hop in, I looked at the person for the first time, directly at them, and I felt fear come up in me for the first time because the person was walking at us. And in that moment, basically the force field came down, and he came at us, and I hopped in the car. She locked the doors, and he tried to get in the car, and we sped away. And as I began to recollect what happened there, it seems to me like I had put up a love force field. Naivete, whatever you want to call it, like I wasn't seeing this person as a robber, murderer, whatever. I was just seeing a person, a divine light wearing a white mask, and right up next to us, skipping, enjoying our energy. And the moment that I turned from that loving holding of this person as a divine light and turned to them as potentially a threat, they turned into a threat. How interesting is that? And they immediately acted. And yet it was minutes before this where he could have done anything to us. But he was, he was confused or bewildered or just, enthralled in the experience of these two, people skipping down the street, that he was pulled into it and didn't act. If we had just looked at him and then felt fear and run away, that's like the gazelle being chased by a lion, or a cheetah. It's like, what to do. The instincts kick in, and he would either chase us, shoot us, rob us, whatever. That's the normal script of having been played out. We took a different route and skipped down the street, bringing a very different energy, throwing a wrench in the spokes of the classic chase scene, and holding him in this loving energy, which I just never imagined it. And I don't, that's my Course in Miracles training, seeing him as the divine light and not as some label of potential threat because of how he looks or the energy he's giving us or any of that. I held him as the divine light, and he was that until I let that go and the mind kicked in. It was like, this thing could be a threat, and he became a threat. How fascinating is that? And I feel really grateful to be alive. I feel really curious. Like the whole time afterwards, my ego's been like, you need to learn from this. It kept me up a bit at that night, thinking that I was naive and I should have been more careful. But the whole time, the deeper message is like the Course in Miracles training here of seeing him as the divine light was kind of like me being Jesus in that moment, like in the world, but not of the world. Like I was acting in a way that wasn't the normal script of the world, and held him in this divine light, just felt joy around the skipping and the, being in that with him. And the moment that I let that go, I re-entered the quote unquote world that we experience here, and he acted upon us. And that to me is a perfect example of, like, apparently if Jesus did do those miracles, that's how it happened. He didn't act as a part of the world. He acted seeing the divine light in everyone, and suddenly, like Lazarus and the blind can see and things of that nature. Crazy things happen when we don't act as the normal world. When you go to Burning Man and you're just giving, and suddenly you can just get whatever you want. It's outside of logical capacity, how you could just be like, man, I really wish I had a Snickers right now, and this next person comes up, it's like, do you want a Snickers? And it's just like, how does that manifestation happen? Like, it's so amazing what can happen. It's not logical, but it's fascinating what can happen when we don't act out the scripts and we just see everything as the divine unfolding. Wow, what's possible?